afraid. We shouldn't be afraid of our people, even when they express views that disagree with their leadership.
To Germany, the land of free speech, unless, of course, you happen to have the wrong opinions. This past weekend at the Munich Security Conference, US Vice President JD Vance delivered a speech so brutally honest, so cutting, that it sent the German political elite into full meltdown mode. The speech shook Germany. Vance stood on that stage and did the unthinkable. He called out Germany's ruling elite for their censorship, their mass migration disaster, their deindustrialization policies, and their utter disdain for the working people of their own country. And oh boy, did it hit a nerve. We have Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who was so furious he could barely contain himself.
For that reason, we will not accept that people who look at Germany from the outside intervene in our democracy, in our elections, and in the democratic opinion-forming process in the interest of this party. That is just not done, certainly not amongst friends and allies. We resolutely reject this. Where our democracy goes from here is for us to decide.
He said that it is not appropriate, especially not among friends and allies. He fumed. Yes, because nothing says democracy like panicking when someone suggests actually listening to your people, right, Scholz? Scholz insisted that there are good reasons to block AfD from power. You see, in Germany, democracy is only democracy when the correct parties are allowed to govern. If 20% of Germans support AfD, too bad. Their votes don't count. And then we have Germany's foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, the poster child for woke European policies.
If radical extreme right or Islamistic structures are calling on a fight against our democracy, Europe is strong enough to defend it from inside. And this is again the moment where you have to pick a side for the free and liberal world, the world of democracy. And this is what Europe is all about.
She was so quick to accuse Vance of undermining European values because obviously free speech, open debate, political pluralism are not among those values. No. The real European values are censorship, global policies, and mass migration, right, Annalena? The German Defense Minister, Boris Pistorius, went even further. He declared Vance's words unacceptable, comparing his defense of free speech to attacks on democracy itself.
He compares the condition of Europe with the condition that prevails in some authoritarian regimes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not acceptable.
Imagine that, a high-ranking German official claiming that defense of democracy is actually a threat to democracy. Brilliant logic, isn't it? Even Friedrich Merz, the so-called conservative opposition leader, took shots at Vance.
The events which took place in DC yesterday, we would never kick out a news agency out of the press room of our Chancellor.
Now, you'd think that the leader of CDU would be cheering on to push for an open democratic debate, right? But no, Merz, like every other establishment politician in Germany, is terrified of AfD gaining power. So what does he do? He plays the same game as the left, pretending to uphold democracy while working to suppress his own political competition.
We stick to the rules which are given by our democratic institutions. This includes our own legal approach to deal with, for example, published information and opinions. Free speech remains free speech.
Now let's talk about the so-called firewall that Germany's political class has built against AfD. It's a formal agreement among mainstream parties that they will never, under any circumstances, allow AfD to participate in government, no matter how many Germans vote for them. Makes sense, right? Democracy, this sounds like democracy? Forget it. Germany's establishment would rather burn the country to the ground than let a right-wing party take power. And they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that it never happens. But here's where things get really interesting. AfD now has a powerful ally, none other than Elon Musk and the Trump administration. Musk has openly backed AfD, slamming Scholz and Germans' leftist policies. He told them online, called Germans to vote for change, and even attended an AfD rally via video link.
Something I think that is just very important is that people take pride in Germany and being German. This is very important. It's okay to be proud to be German. This is a very important principle.
Urging them to fight for their future. And then there's Trump and his team. They see right through Germany's game. They're not playing along. Vance, Musk and Trump are all calling out the European establishment for what it is. An anti-democratic elite class terrified of losing control. So what's next? Well, the German establishment is in full panic mode. They are scrambling, trying to save their face, pretending that they are not scared, but we all see it.
There is a clear attempt by some to build spheres of influence. Competing visions of the world order are leading to a more transactional approach in global affairs. And Europe has to change to thrive in this new reality. We have to be smart.
They know it, that if Trump and Elon Musk push through this agenda, the firewall could come crashing down. They know that AfD is rising. They know that their grip on power is slipping. The bottom line, Germany's ruling politicians are furious, scared, and exposed. They've been called out on the world stage, and now all they can do is lash out in desperation. But no amount of screaming, no amount of censorship, and no amount of firewalls will stop the truth from coming out. Germany, your people are waking up. Europe, your people are waking up. And the establishment, well, they're running out of time. If you stand for free speech, democracy, and putting the people first, share this video, subscribe, and stay tuned. The fight is only beginning. This is D. Girish signing off from the Macro Story. See